That's crazy though. 850 years of a historical structure, just like poof,
Yeah,
gone.
I mean that's fucking history.
That's fucking crazy. The fact that it happened in our lifetime
400
too.
firefighters.
That shit was like when they were building that, they had no comprehension of the internet, of
Electricity.
literally any electricity. People were dying at the age of 30 from fucking rat bites, measles,
How much
and
do you
shit.
know about Notre Dame Cathedral?
Bro, if it was built in the 1100s,
I know nothing about the Notre Dame Cathedral.
I know a little bit.
I
I've never seen it 'cause I've never been to Paris, but it's just like when I went to Spain, I was looking at all those structures.
Cathedral people. That Catholicism architecture is pretty lit, dude.
Bro, it's ridiculous. There's nothing like it in America. Like the churches there and the statues and all the shit that they built for Christ. Nothing. Honestly,
No,
no.
you said that in a funny way.
Bro, honestly, there's nothing that even comes close to it in terms of architecture in this country. Like period.
Yeah,
So to see that like just go, even though they saved half of it, or like I think just the roof burned, like that's fucking sad.
I guess so.
Some of those fucking like when I went to Spain, the churches were the size of the skyscrapers in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Like that's terrible.
Yeah, there's not a lot of beautiful architecture
Oh, there's like
praising the name of God here.
compared to Spain,
They
there's
were
or
in that
compared to
shit.
Europe, there's none.
They thought that shit got him a fucking ticket to goddamn heaven.
Well, whatever it did, it definitely inspired some crazy fucking art and
Yeah.
shit that I don't think people are capable of today.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
You
and
think that could be recreated?
the lack of technology they had back then too, that shit took like 200 years to build.
You don't think someone would, let's say, fucking a Spanish government would hire an artist? You don't think that could kind of have the same essence of beautifulness?
No,
Why not?
because I don't think the inspiration is there. Because back then,
there's nothing but Jesus.
everything you did was for God.
Yeah.
If you weren't fucking trying to milk your cow to live, you were going to church to worship.
Yeah.
And they were like, we got to build the most beautiful structure we could ever build that's humanly possible for God. And it's going to take hundreds of years. It's going to be like take generations to do. And
yeah,
then
that's a good point.
It's crazy. It's ridiculous. And like people that like don't realize that need to fucking read some history, 'cause
But people are saying that those same churches that people came in kind of had the same feel of a generation's worth of shit burned down in some colonial days. There's a lot of Twitter warriors are saying.
okay, I don't think that's a fair comparison. I feel like everybody is comparing every bad thing to the colonization of America.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two separate things. First of all, the church was built hundreds of years before that even started. And even if that mattered, colonization has been around way before churches were built anyway. So it's like, I don't know. It's like I don't even know if ungratefulness is a word, but the ungratefulness of a lot of people our age in this country is fucking ridiculous. Like, we're literally standing on the shoulders of giants in terms of history and science and just education.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about, let's just talk about like Europe and the church and shit and the values that were brought from there to here. Don't steal from your neighbor. Don't covet what they want. Don't murder. Don't cheat on your wife or whatever. Like, those are
Is that only from European godliness?
those are basic Judeo-Christian values. And before that, there was really nothing really like it in like a moral code, unless you take into account something called the Code of Hammurabi, which was kind of similar. But the biggest difference there was, besides like when you compare it to Christianity, was each person wasn't made in the image of God, so therefore each person inherently didn't have any value.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying? So they were like, wow, this is like the first religion where we have inherent value because we're all made in the image of God. We're going to build this structure to worship God because he's telling us that we have this ability to do so. And they made this crazy art, and people just like don't give a shit about it.